Good afternoon and welcome to the April 27th, 2023 meeting of the Fitchburg Historical Commission. I now call this meeting to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting an audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. Do we have any other guests in attendance? I don't believe so. This time we have Sam Blair, Don Ostrowski, and Andy Lepasti, and myself, Keith Chino, as present. We do have a quorum, so we're going to move right along with this. I think our first item on the agenda, if there's any public comment, and I don't believe there is any, we're going to move on to item number 2, review and approve minutes for our last meeting, March 30th, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes.
Any discussion?
Oh,
We're adding edits to add the last names of the
yes, full names
of new guests, right?
That's right.
Okay, got that.
Okay. And any other additions or corrections suggested? Okay, let's see. I'm trying to mix up on a procedure here. Now I accept a motion to approve the minutes as amended. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
I amend my motion to approve as amended.
And a second.
Who do I have for a second? You, Keith?
Sure, I'll second.
Okay.
Or Sam.
Thanks.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? The motion passes unanimously. Okay, number 3, Freedom's Way Hidden Treasures List and Host event for May 20th, this coming month at 11 a.m. starting at the Fitchburg Historical Society. Just a little background on this. The Freedom's Way has put out a ask for various member communities along the Freedom's Way to have a hidden treasure event for the month of May. We are partnering with the Historical Society in Fitchburg with some looking at monuments and other interesting items within restricted to the upper common area and the Monument Park area. And it's going to be a walking tour with Susan Navarre from the Historical Society speaking about some of the history behind several of the monuments that we'll be visiting. And I have agreed to make a little bit of a comment on some of the architectural surrounding buildings and some of the brief history of some of those particular landmarks. Andy's working on a handout that's going to be going along with some of the background information for those attending, in reference to several of the monument pieces. And I'm trying to create a handout that kind of shows the location of these various items in the Upper Common and around Monument Park. And if I can, I'm going to try to bring up another document here. Let's see. Here it is down below. And I think you can kind of see this. This is a draft document that we can maybe use multiple times or have as a kind of available piece of information along with some of our other brochure material we're working on. This is kind of showing the Upper Common area. North is straight up. This is Main Street, Mechanic Street, Main Street going off to the west.
Seeing it here in this room, Keith.
Pardon me?
I don't know if you need to minimize the agenda perhaps, or.
Oh, okay. So the new one is not showing up. Sorry about
Correct.
that. All right, I'll figure this out yet. Okay. Share. All right. All right. Do you have a map now?
No,
No matter.
it just says you started.
Oh, there we go.
All right, now it came up.
Oh, okay. My internet's fairly slow here, so it could be an issue. So this is the upper common area, north being straight up, and this is the upper common, Mechanic Street up the top, Main Street going off to the west as it leaves the common. And it's going to set up some of the objects that are in the general upper common area, starting with the Rollstone Boulder, the firefighters memorial monument, the turtle fountain, Boys and Turtle Fountain, the bandstand, the Korean and Vietnam War memorial, the World War I memorial, along with its many paver plaques that have been brought in from around the community. World War II monument, item G, which is both the Pacific and the European theater, and the Lanzhou speed skating and bicycling memorial, I guess, down on this lower piece of the common. And hopefully being able to kind of point out and list some of the architectural features around the common. Just interesting piece, one of the oldest buildings on Main Street, and certainly in the upper common area, is the second meeting house, which is Debonis Florist right now. And they've actually requesting a plaque, one of our marker plaques for that building also. Another kind of second oldest building on the common is a little two-story house back behind the Boulder Cafe, and actually almost right next to the river. As you're walking down Circle Street, you can just kind of see it back in the back. I think it has some green vinyl siding on it now, but this is a early 19th century that was believed to be partially a bakery back in the day also. And this is called Baker Passway, this little road running behind from Circle Street. I think it's a private way now over to Rollstone Street. So some interesting pieces, and we're hoping to have this a little bit refined if I can put in the time, maybe with a little legend on it, and kind of the same for the Monument Park area, this being Monument Park with the main Civil War memorial in the center, and off to the west side is a small memorial to the nurses, Clara Barton Memorial for the nurses during the Civil War period also. And again, hopefully listing some of the kind of landmark buildings that are in the historic districts around the common here. So something kind of working on. It doesn't include the Historical Society here. Maybe the map could be expanded to include that. We'll see if I can get that in or not. So we're hoping that any of our members could join this walk on, again, Saturday, May 20th, starting at 11 o'clock at the Historical Society. And anybody that's listening to our recording on this at May 20th. And I believe following at Riverfront Park is a food truck fair starting around noon and going into the early afternoon. So hopefully people can join both events. city sponsored here. So,
Hey, Keith?
yes.
I think I've seen a promo for the food trucks. And they're going to 166 Boulder Drive, not the Riverfront Park.
Okay, so that is what the
Where the River Styx
the
Brewery is and. The
okay,
former GE
by the
plant.
River Styx Brewery. Okay, so the old GE plant parking lot, just down here behind the library on Boulder Drive. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That sounds that's better for people having access and parking and things. So
Sure, and get them, and to be able to get them to Main Street area as well.
yeah, terrific. Thanks. I had misunderstood that. So good correction.
Okay.
And there's going to be we're just going to kind of keep track of the number of people that attend this for the historic. This is important for participation, so having lots of people join us on the hidden treasures piece, it would be great. And it helps us support fundraising and grants and so forth for the Historical Society. Okay, let me see if I can flip back here. Let me stop sharing and again share the agenda. That's not the agenda. I don't know. You guys seeing the agenda?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, just me not seeing the agenda. Okay, here we go. All right. Number 4, update on Monument Park repairs. Approximately a week ago, I had a nice conversation with James Bono with the Parks Department, and he's kind of on board with various pieces. I also sent over some information about the park benches, again, just to kind of clarify the ones that we had thought would be appropriate for the park. And I found an old Google Earth view of the park that seemed to indicate that there were actually 2 benches at 90 degrees from each other in each corner of the park, or at least the one corner I could see in Google Earth. It wasn't shaded by numerous trees and so forth. So hopefully that's getting into some budgeting pieces. And we will continue to kind of follow up on the other pieces as far as repair of fencing, steps, and the actual monument itself. So I think we're starting to form a good relationship with their commission, the Parks Commission, and our intention on it.
Keith, I don't know if you're aware, but in the Upper Common, especially around the fountain, there are like 13 of those benches.
Wow.
And I suppose when they have events in the Upper Common, they make use of them, but it seems odd that they have 13 benches in the Upper Common and none in Monument Park.
Yep. And I think everybody's on board. The mayor has talked about this again, and he's pushing to get the benches back also. So I think all the correct intent is there, and I think will be put in. And if there's keep our fingers crossed.
And what do we have to do to get that no dogs allowed sign at Monument Park removed?
That's a good question. I'm wondering if dog owners could, that might be out of our purview, unless it's an antique sign. Maybe dog owners should contact the Park Commission.
At the park.
And
I will do that.
and you know, perhaps you know, maybe suggesting things like in other park areas that allow pets like that, of having a doggy disposal bag station or something that's not obtrusive for the park, but near the
Yeah,
near the two entrances, front and back.
Gateway Park has it, Riverfront Park has it. I mean, even River Styx has a doggy poop disposal bag. Why can't River Styx Brewery have one, but
Yeah.
the park, Monument Park, it makes no sense to me.
I think that's an easy item to make them aware of, and that'd be great.
I will call them.
Yeah, certainly making good use of this wonderful park would be great. So,
Let's get people to use it, not forbid people to use it. People with dogs to use
even people with dogs.
it. Even people with dogs.
My dog is right here beside me, so. Okay, any other things on Monument Park? Number 5, update on historic building demolition delay.
Okay, so both 5 and 6, a little bit of progress. I had a chance encounter with Joan David some weeks ago. She told me that I should contact her office and she would set up an appointment where I could present to whomever city officials would be interested our demolition delay ordinance, the draft and the draft of the stone wall ordinance, and provide some background to it. So I'm waiting to hear back from her about that, and that should come up pretty soon.
That is terrific. I think that's a great step forward. Keep us posted when that is, and perhaps additional members of the commission could be present also.
That would be great.
All right, and if it we'll see how many people interested, and if it wants to become eligible to meet kind of public meeting criteria, we could set up a special meeting also. So
Yeah, I'm thinking we could maybe use, the city hall committee as a kind of model, because as I understand the city hall committee, they're very, at the beginning on the committee, there were very mixed opinions on what to do with city hall. And by the end, they were all unanimous. And I think once we get the evidence out there and explain why it is we're doing what we're proposing, I think we can persuade people and get them on board.
That's good. Is this on kind of a recap on stone walls and kind of on the demo delay? Is that Susan Navarre had mentioned that if you wanted to do demo delay presentation to the board, a brief presentation to the Historical Society board at some time, certainly you might contact her on that also. As I know you and Andy had maybe thought about that too. So
There is the society board meeting, I think, is coming up the kind of middle of May. I don't know if you want to talk about
Sure.
the demo delay then. I could ask her if you put it on the
I could
agenda.
also ask about Rising Prime
Yeah.
Cafe.
I was interested about if you went on your airplane.
Not yet, no,
Over the river.
he got COVID.
No,
So it's been delayed. I mean, he's better now, but
Yeah.
it depends on his schedule.
I think, yeah. We was it supposed to be to fly the path of the Nashua kind of?
Well, yeah, fly around the area looking at the topography, because, you know, as a historian, am interested not only in written history, but history before there was writing. And in this area, I mean, it's just a very rich topography. And the Marty is also interested in that as well. So he's planning to fly into Fitchburg Airport and I'll meet him there and fly around.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Number 7, update on historic districts information brochure, map, information guide, signage, posting, etc. We are still waiting for kind of a final edit. I spoke with Ellen DiGeronimo earlier today, and I believe at the last meeting I had mentioned, or at some past time that I had mentioned, I would send a draft of where we were to all the commission members, just to share on that. And I didn't send it out until late this morning, but if you want, I can kind of bring it up now on screen to kind of see some of the draft pieces so that at least Andy and Don have seen a lot of this, but Andy, would you like to see a quick look at the brochure?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me see if I can find that again here.
I know you sent us 3 files. Would they all go together in one?
Yeah, it
brochure?
was 3 files, and let me let's see. Get on the Zoom.
No, this would be on a sign on the Main Street. So each one of these would have a sign on Main Street. And then this would be the brochure, which would be, and then folded, well, that would be folded in 3s, trifold.
Okay, you have a copy there. Okay,
Yes.
for just in general, let me on the screen here, just so that the public kind of aware of this also. So this would be this is to be put on 11 by 17 paper. This would be a 8.5 by 11, which is shown here with kind of a triple fold. It would be printed on the back of this kind of double sheet also. And this would be folded into 3 pieces. So it'd be Fitchburg Downtown Historic. Instead of making it all district, we might call it historic areas, as some of them are not into official districts yet. And a little blurb here on kind of the middle panel about what the historic districts and historic areas represent and how this brochure was created, and with some references of people being able to explore themselves, a link to the Macris maps that list a lot of this information and much more information about our community and all of the communities in Massachusetts. A link to the Fitchburg Historical Society website, a link to the public library website and a link to the Fitchburg Historical Commission's webpage. And also a brief history of the city of Fitchburg, or the community of Fitchburg, on this kind of back panel here. So kind of our three major panels. There are on the back, or the lower fold of this, I believe how it is, there's going to be a map showing the kind of following Main Street from the east all the way to the upper northwest, showing the various historic areas that we're including. Starting on the far east side would be the Warner Square National Register Historic District. And actually the terminus of the Fitchburg end of the Twin City Rail Trail, kind of showing that area. And links to these here where we have some markers going across are going to be showing the H.M. Francis overlay area or district. H.M. Francis being one of Fitchburg's most famous architects of the late 19th and early 20th century. And many of his buildings along the Main Street area, they're included in this overlay survey of his buildings that is linked below. These are also shown at the bottom of the map, and I believe there are 22 of these. Number 22 ending at the Rollstone Congregational Church here on Main Street, and going back all the way up to number 1 of his buildings. It's the School Street School, which is in private ownership, up off of School Street, off of kind of Main Street as it heads off to the west, to various buildings. As we come up again beyond the H.M. Francis overlay district, there's a Monument Park historic areas and districts, and there are 2 specific different Monument Park, one of them being the Monument Park Local Historic District that our Historic Commission has design review over, and the National Register Monument Park Historic District that's shown in this shaded area here. Many of those buildings, including the monuments of Monument Park, the Christ Church, the old YMCA building, the old courthouse, the new courthouse, which is the old post office building, the armory, and the location of it, the Trinitarian Church, the Abolition Church of that day. And across the street in the local historic district, the Fitchburg Public Library buildings, the Fay Club, and the Lucy's Barn, which is now being transformed into Stratton Players Theater. Moving up from that is the Upper Common historic area. It's actually going to be overlaying the library area now. We have I think an extension on this. This is being applied for a National Register district as we speak, and includes many buildings along the Upper Common area and the historic backgrounds in those. Just down off of the Upper Common is the Crocker Field National Register Historic District. The playing field, its grandstands, and main athletic building, and all the architecture and the fields that a gift of the Crocker family back around the turn of the century. And to the upper right of the Upper Common is the Academy Street applied for historic district or historic area. It includes the B.F. Brown previous junior high school, its playing fields. Also the academy, the original academy building, one of the, again, also an H.M. Francis design building, and the Longeau Junior High School, and the Wallace Way monumental stairs that lead down to Wallace Avenue that goes down past Monument Park and ends at the library. So many major interesting historic landmarks and areas and just National Register districts within the kind of walking of the kind of our mile-long Main Street from here to there. So these will all have some various links to them. Again, the H.M. Francis buildings are listed here. And on the last two page foldouts, we'll have write-ups of each of the historic areas along the way, including the H.M. Francis Overlay District. So Monument Park, there's a nice description of this, along with a QR code. They'll have links to more detailed information in a small photograph of some of the park features. The H.M. Francis Overlay District, some of the buildings have this metal medallion on the kind of street side of these. Crocker Field, again, a small image and some background information on this historic district. The second page of links to the map area, the Upper Common historic area, here showing an image of the Boys and Turtles Fountain and the Unitarian Church in the background. The Academy Street historic area, image of B.F. Brown and the Academy building, the city stables being behind it, and the monumental stairs, and et cetera, being off to the right here. And the Morin Square National Register Historic District. This is the Morin Block and the Spanish-American War Monument, I believe, shown here at the corner of Lunenburg Street, Summer Street, and Main Street, and a brief description and link to more information with the QR code. So these are entering kind of our final drafts, and you can take a look at these, have questions or comments of things that we might improve on. Again, this is a draft and some of our markups on this. Up above here, there's one more of the Elm Street Church. So the map is going to be extended a little bit more towards the north here to make sure that's included in the H.M. Francis Overlay District. And the write-ups, if you see any pieces in this that you could see that would like correction, that'd be great, let us know. And also we're hoping to, with kind of a printing of this fold-out trifold brochure, we're hoping to have street signs created. And this is our graphics that we're proposing, or the street signs for each one of these, I believe, 6 areas and districts along Main Street that passenger walkers and perhaps even moving slowly with your vehicle to be able to see the area. Monument or Morin, this is an example for the Morin Square Historic District. Again, showing its kind of location and an outline of what it covers. There's going to be a brief, like 20-word description here of what's in the district adjacent to Fitchburg's expanding railroad corridor. The district features rapid 19th and 20th century invention and industrial development, plus unique commercial and residential structures. And again, a QR code to kind of take it. So we're hoping to place these at entry points along kind of perhaps the three major highway areas, maybe even over on North Street, kind of showing this very interesting industrial and commercial area and some residential structures in here also. So this is a kind of following the same color schemes that we're proposing for the brochure, having these, and I believe this is a 24-inch high metal sign that we either combine on existing signposts along the curb lines, or having a new signpost put in at the appropriate areas. Again, something for the Academy Street historic area, Monument Park historic area. This is the duplicate here for the Upper Common, Crocker Field, and I think the one that's missing here is do we have the Academy Street? I think maybe that's it. And there would be one for the H.M. Francis, also with a link that could show the various locations and the list of those links. Maybe one posted at the Rollstone Congregational Church, and one maybe at the western end of the H.M. Francis area. Any comments from, I guess, Andy? This might be one of the early times that you've seen this. And
then as the people take like a scan of the QR codes, they get more info popping up.
yes, and we need to kind of make sure we have those links. It could take it to the MACRIS listing that could give some detailed information of each of these areas, or through the actual like Morin Square Historic District. There's a like a 70-page document of all of the information about in-depth old maps and sorry, a dog lapping water in the background here.
Okay.
As a finish, there we go. So you have very detailed information that people who would want to dig kind of deeper into it and get it on your own computer. So just by, I think most people are aware of the QR code, and these are all just sample QR codes on here now, and there's not a specific link yet. We're hoping to develop that very quickly. So. And having kind of the final graphics on this. Obviously, this will need, I think we will want to review this with certainly with the Community Development Department, the Mayor's Office, and be looking for sponsorship or funding for the printing of nice quality brochures, where these might be placed. Also having this brochure available on our website. Also placing at Historical Society, the library, at City Hall, certainly for those interested, and other interested spots where we could have these folded brochures available, and obviously have it as a digital piece that's that people could download from our city website also, and maybe featured on one of the links on some of the perhaps a link to it somewhere on some of the major introduction pages to the city's website also, rather than trying to find it on our Fitchburg Historical Commission site also, which is a little bit buried within the city website. So certainly getting funding for the making of the brochure itself, that is the printing, and also for the printing and purchase of the actual street signs, as we see here, and exactly where they would be located, the number of signs, and being able to have help in getting these installed, perhaps through the Department of Public Works, et cetera. So we want to get it into our kind of a final draft form, and then sharing that with other agencies within the city and getting some feedback from them, and then actually have this go into printing and sign installation, all in the effort to provide public awareness of the rich heritage that we have of our city. And this is a focus along much of Main Street, or the downtown area, as we call it, and certainly, in the future, other efforts of certainly lots of historic information throughout the city, and one being our kind of working with the Twin Cities Rail Trail and trying to have some additional informational signage along that trail, and certainly other parts of the city. So kind of a long presentation here, but hope that if you have any comments, Andy, or others that are watching this presentation, to certainly get in contact with us through our link on the Fitchburg Historical Commission at that point. So awareness of kind of a lot of the information about some of the hidden and not so hidden heritage that we have in our city, and here's some interesting links to find out more about it. All right.
I think it's great because it's also promoting our historic buildings and areas in town.
Exactly, and the providing access to find where this information is stored, particularly the survey information that the Massachusetts Historical Commission has posted on its website, and all of the inventory of these great assets that we have in our community. All right, let me stop with this and see if I can bring up moving along with item. Let me share again. Hopefully we have item number 8. Wallace Building entry stones reuse. I don't think there's any update on that at the moment. Historic marker update, and I think all our members are aware that we have a new brochure, a new sign maker for us for the historic markers. We've had 1 or 2 new inquiries come through. One is for the second meeting house, which is located on Main Street, the DeBonis Florist building. We're processing that at the moment, and hopefully get that into making shortly. And we have our brochure, a new updated brochure for the historic markers. Community Development Department has offered to print out 200 copies, colored copies of this, to pick those up shortly, and I'll let members know, and maybe you guys can help with the distribution of these and locating them at various areas in the city, and having a few on hand for yourself so you can hand them out to appropriate people you think might be able to be interested in having a historic marker for their site or their building. So Number 10,
Sorry, Keith.
protect,
I assume there's no update on
yes,
the,
Tom?
no, update on the people who had paid their fee and didn't get their.
Not that I'm aware of. I'm hoping they'll directly, if you haven't heard yet, I'm hoping if you'd like me to just send a reminder out to them, I can do that.
That's probably not a bad idea.
I will do that. Thank you. And let's see. Number 10, project to document and share Main Street building histories, historic districts, tax credits, and other credits. Information. This is a something we've talked about in previous meetings. Ellen is beginning to work up some information on this. Some of the Upper Common, the proposal to create the Upper Common Historic District that we show on our brochure is its nomination as to National Park Service for inclusion as a National Register. Historic District is in process. It's in draft form and being revised at this moment, and going to be resubmitted to Mass Historical for consideration and movement on to the federal level. That's making some good progress and has some additional good research on various buildings, particularly from the library heading northwest along Main Street, including many buildings along that area, some new updated information. So creating a document that gets into a little bit more depth than our historic district area does, creating a document that has some history of specific Main Street buildings, and also reference to some of the tax credit incentives and other incentives available for those property owners to look at, and encouraging restoration and reuse of some of the grand architecture we have along Main Street. So that's a work in progress. Any thoughts or comments on that? Okay, moving on to item number 11, commission membership vacancy update. I have, and I think you've all been copied, we've contacted the local realty association, requesting having up to 2 members recommended that would be interested in serving on the commission. This would help to meet our requirement for having 2 members, 2 nominations from the local realtor association to fill our vacancy as kind of our requested required membership requirements for our commission. So they were quite interested in doing this and have put out the ask to their membership, and we hope to hear back from them shortly. So work in progress. Comments, new business, any new business members like to bring up? Things we'd like to be working on, follow up in any of our past projects not covered here. Hearing no new business. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 25th at 3 p.m. at City Hall, same location, and there will be a Zoom remote hybrid link also. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second?
I second the motion to adjourn.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? None. Abstain? It's unanimous. We will see you all next meeting, May 25th. Thank you very much.